Metropolitan Public Library. It's time for another edition of Tiny Tots, and this one's very special because this is our last filmed Tiny Tots, because on April 5th, which is today, we are starting live story time. So we've got this last one queued up, but then today at 10:30 a.m. you can come to Community Park and participate in real live story time where we will sing and dance and have a good time. But for the last time, let's record the song Hello. I bet you know how it goes. It goes like this. Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Now everybody clap your hands, clap your hands, clap your hands. Now everybody clap your hands, come on and clap your hands. Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Now everybody wiggle your fingers, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your fingers. Now everybody wiggle your fingers, come on and wiggle your fingers. Okay, one more time, uno más. Hola, 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 ¿y cómo estás? Estoy bien, muy bien, y espero que tú también. Now everybody wave hello, wave hello, wave hello. Now everybody wave hello, 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 hello. All right, hello. Welcome to Tiny Tots. Today we are taking a trip to the ocean. Yeah, we have a great whale book, and I've got some super fabulous ocean critter songs. So let's get started. But you know, we got to get warmed up before we do story time. So we'll start out by getting warmed up in the manner of some ocean creatures. So we're going to be big sea stars to start with. Okay, so you make yourself big and wide. Do what we call a star jump. So throw your arms out in the air and your legs out in the air and jump up. So that'll be big sea star. And then we'll be a tiny little crab. So make yourself teeny tiny. And then a big sea star. And then in the middle, we're going to be some seaweed, and then a tiny little crab, and a big sea star. Okay, you got it. Let's do it all together. A big sea star, a big sea star, tiny little crab and a big sea star, a big sea star, a big sea star, tiny little crab and a big sea star, some seaweed, tiny little crab and a big sea star, some seaweed, tiny little crab and a big sea star. Can we do it again? Maybe a little faster? Okay, big sea star, do a star jump, tiny little crab, make yourself tiny, and then some seaweed, you're gonna wiggle. A big sea star, a big sea star, tiny little crab and a big sea star, a big sea star, a big sea star, tiny little crab and a big sea star, some seaweed, tiny little crab and a big sea star, some seaweed, tiny little crab and a big sea star. Okay, let's do it one more time. This time, Super Rocket Fun Fast. Can I do it? Let's find out. Are you ready? Take a deep breath. Get ready. It goes like this. A big sea star, a big sea star, tiny little crab and a big sea star, a big sea star, a big sea star, tiny little crab and a big sea star, some seaweed, tiny little crab and a big sea star, some seaweed, tiny little crab and a big sea star. Nice job! All right, we are all warmed up, and it is time for me to share a fish song with you. Now, there's a lot of great fish songs out there, but this is one of my faves. It's by a guy named Casper Babypants, who I may have mentioned one or two times on this show because I love him so much. And in this version, we're going to treat it like a finger play, a 5-finger play. So we're going to start out with 5 little fish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will count them down until we're just left with 1. Okay. It goes like this. Oh, let me tell you something. In this song, we'll have 5 little fish, and they're going to swim. So when they're swimming, you pretend to swim. And then when you get to the bubbles at the end, you go bubble, 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 pop. Just like that. Okay, and that's a fish swimming away. It goes like this. 5 little fish swimming in the water, swimming in the water, swimming in the water. 5 little fish swimming in the water. Bubble, 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 pop. We had 5. 1 swam away. Now we're left with 4. 4 little fish swimming in the water, swimming in the water, swimming in the water. 4 little fish swimming in the water. Bubble, 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 pop. Okay, we had 4, and we took 1 away. What are we left with? 1, 2, 3. Okay. 3 little fish swimming in the water, swimming in the water, swimming in the water. 3 little fish swimming in the water. Bubble, 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 pop. Okay, we had 3, and we took 1 away. We're left with 2. Okay. 2 little fish swimming in the water, swimming in the water, swimming in the water. 2 little fish swimming in the water. Bubble, 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 pop. We have 2, and 1 swam away. What are we left with? Just 1 little fish. Oh my goodness. 1 little fish swimming in the water, swimming in the water, swimming in the water. 1 little fish swimming in the water. Bubble, 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 pop. Okay, for that last one we had 1, and he swam away. So now we have no little fish. And that was the song 5 Little Fish, learned from Casper Baby Pants. All right, now it's time for us to cover all kinds of ocean critters. We're going to cover some fish, but we're also going to talk about some clams and some crabs and some dolphins and some sharks and some waves. So this is going to go to the tune of the Wheels on the Bus. But instead of wheels on the bus, we're going to say the fish in the ocean go swim, swim, swim all day long. And then the clams in the ocean go open and shut, open and shut. And then the crabs in the ocean go click, 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 click. And the dolphins in the ocean go leap, leap, leap. And then the sharks in the ocean, yeah, you know what they do. They go chomp, chomp, chomp. And then the waves in the ocean go up and down, up and down. Okay, so let's try it all together to the tune of Wheels on the Bus. Goes like this. The fish in the ocean go swim, 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 swim. The fish in the ocean go swim, 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 all day long. Okay, the clams. The clams in the ocean go open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. The clams in the ocean go open and shut all day long. The crabs in the ocean go click, 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 click. The crabs in the ocean go click, click, click all day long. Okay, dolphins. The dolphins in the ocean go leap, 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 leap. So jump up, leap, leap, leap. The dolphins in the ocean go leap, leap, leap all day long. Okay, what are those sharks gonna do? The sharks in the ocean go chomp, 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 chomp. The sharks in the ocean go chomp, chomp, chomp all day long. Okay, what about the waves? The waves are gonna go up and down. The waves in the ocean go up and down, up and down, up and down. The waves in the ocean go up and down all day long. Okay, one more fish. The fish in the ocean go swim, 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 swim. The fish in the ocean go swim, swim, swim all day long. Yay! All right, it's time for one of my favorite parts of Tiny Tots, where I get to share one of my favorite books with you. And we've got a great one today, a new book that I've never shared before. It's really beautiful. But first, we've got to make sure that we're ready to listen to stories. So let's check in with our bodies, see how we're doing. Start here. My ears are ready to hear. My eyes are ready to look. My hands I clap, now in my lap. It's time now for this book. And this is called The Tale of the Whale by Karen Swan. It's got a beautiful message, and I hope you like it as much as I do. It starts out like this. Where land becomes sky and sky becomes sea, I first saw the whale, and the whale first saw me. And high on the breeze came his sweet-sounding song. I've so much to show you if you'll come along. I scrambled aboard in the silvery light and watched tiny houses drift far out of sight. We floated away on the rocking horse sea. I smiled at the whale, and the whale smiled at me. We sailed the blue ocean with turtles and rays, and tail splashed the seagulls in deep water bays. We danced with the dolphins that waltzed through the sea. I laughed with the whale, and the whale laughed with me. The whale's tummy rumbled, his mouth opened wide, and half of an ocean was swallowed inside. I stared at the whale, and he stared back at me, and I understood now what he brought me to see. Oh. A watery trash can of bottles and caps, some straws, an old toothbrush, and torn plastic wraps. A net lost while fishing, a large coffee cup, the soup of the ocean, and he'd swallowed it up. A turtle in trouble, a gull in distress, a tightening collar, a plastic bag mess. We traveled home saddened by all we could see. I cried with the whale, and the whale cried with me. I gazed in his eyes as I stood on the sand and made him a promise to tell the whole land. The tale of the whale and the plastic soup sea. You've heard the whale's story. Please change it with me. And that is The Tale of the Whale. A great story to share alongside something like The Lorax. It's by Karen Swan, and it's illustrated by Padma Kandra. All right, it is time for this week's Lit Bit. So this is for the big people. Big people, listen up. So one thing you want to make sure you do when you're talking to your kids is ask lots of open-ended questions. You want to give them an opportunity to formulate answers, to try and use vocabulary, to just use their narrative skills to answer questions. So one thing that really helps is to pause. So when you ask an open-ended question like, how was your day? Or what did you think of that food? You know, that kind of thing. Give them a few seconds. It can take 5 seconds or more. Kids have several different parts of their brains that have to work in concert in order to be able to formulate a response to your question. And that takes practice, which is why you want to ask lots of open-ended questions, but you also want to make sure you give your little people time to answer. So even if you have to count up to 5 while you're waiting for an answer, because it can be hard. 5 seconds is a long time, surprisingly. So just make sure you pause, give those little people a chance to answer those questions and keep that dialogue going. All right, we've done it again. We've gotten to the end of a session of Tiny Tots, and it's time to say goodbye. So we're going to sing the song we always do to say goodbye. We're going to wrap it up with a happy tune. Goes like this. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! Okay, all three of them put together. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Clap, clap, stomp, stomp, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Clap, clap, stomp, stomp, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Clap, clap, stomp, stomp, hooray! Yay! I'll see you later.